Welcome back to the Gun Guy Radio Product Spotlight, and we have the Brownells category manager, Paul Levy, with us this week. I left your picture up so I can read your title. But hey, Paul, how you doing?
Congratulations on getting it right. I'm doing well.
Well, it's leading me to believe that you're more of a rifle kind of guy. Are you more of a rifle?
Yeah, I'm more of a rifle guy. I get excited more about those type of products. I shoot pistol occasionally, don't own nearly as many, but I do dabble a bit in that. You'll notice the products I like to bring on here, a lot of rifle stuff, and kind of the grandfather of all current rifles is the M1 Garand. Not, of course, the grandfather. There's a lot of other rifles that played a part, but for any American, this rifle is pretty important. And this book by Bruce and Canfield is pretty impressive. The M1 Garand rifle. This tome here is about a little under 900 pages, and it's full of illustrations and a lot of great information. One thing I was really impressed by in this book is the amount of research he put into it. It's not just a bunch of stuff he's read or heard over the years, and he just regurgitated it and just made up his own stories. This is well researched and well thought out, well put together. I don't have probably nearly enough time to do this book justice, but I'll skim through it real quick. One thing you'll notice as we do is there's a great mixture of black and white and then color photography. There's over 2,100 photos in here. It is a $90 book. But when you get this and you handle it, it's well worth it, especially if you're at all interested in the M1 Garand. And for that matter, any rifles that are similar to the M1 Garand in that period, because it also covers those rifles as well. Just skimming through, I made a few notations. Just starting out, it covers a few rifles that came before the Garand. Here's just a semi-auto Mauser design on the one hand there. And these are covered in detail. They have close-up color photography. It's not poorly scanned from a public library or anything like that. It's well thought out, well put together. It flows well too for a technical focus book. You get into a gun book sometimes and it's all over the place, or just is a bunch of numbers and when these were produced. This is really it's a good read. Along with other rifles, there's the Peterson rifle, which is one of the other competing designs at the time. Again, not just the M1 Garand. If you're at all interested in the history of the rifle, this is a fantastic book. And of course, probably the most well-known competitor to the M1 Garand, you have the Johnson rifle. There's a whole chapter devoted to just this rifle. That tells you some of the depths that he went to in just putting this together. One thing that I thought was really cool, just with this book in general, is the amount Bruce Canfield devotes to the manufacturing process. I was going through here, and there's 1 or 2 pages devoted to just the selection of the type of steel used for certain components on the M1 Garand, and he lays out why Springfield Armory chose those materials, what their thought process was. It's stuff that you just don't find anywhere else. And then also the images, of course, of the manufacturing. There's a barrel being turned on a lathe. Really impressive. Republic Steel, he goes into just the purchasing of each component. Later on in the book, individual components are discussed as far as inspection, the different variations, how they're stamped. If you have an M1 Garand, like I said, this is probably a must-have. Here's some of the prototype Garands after the war with the pistol grip and removable magazine, which of course eventually led you to the M14 type rifles. And it's not just about the M1 Garand. It's also got all the accessories, all the related ammunition. He goes into all that. And he has pictures of everything. There's pictures of all the ammunition, the ammo cans, the crates that came in. So he he goes into just an amazing amount of detail with these.
Yeah, that blows me away. That it's like a complete Bible of the M1 Garand.
Yeah, it's impressive. There's something I didn't know existed, a clip loader to assist in loading of the M1 clips, which is actually correct terminology for this rifle. I know that's a favorite internet topic of debate or thing to be scrutinized. Here's some of the parts section. He's got the different details on the various trigger components, and he has original images of how the components function. That's an Army just instructional on how the trigger worked. It's really impressive, and something you'll find in some other M1 Garand books, but definitely handy, is a serial number database to find out when your specific Garand was produced. He also goes into NRA service matches, the Garands used for those, which ones were national match rifles. It's really, if you have a Garand, buy this book. You won't ever have to buy another M1 Garand book again, except for maybe the shop manuals, which you can find from Brownells as well. It's a great book.
Yeah,
I can't say enough about it.
I'll have to borrow yours after you're done with it.
Yeah, there you go. M1 Garand by Bruce N. Canfield. We see books through here quite a bit, and we get a lot of great books. This one, I don't bring a lot of books on the podcast, though. This one is really impressive.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I forgot that Brownells carries books, but it looks like you have quite the selection here.
Yeah, we've always had quite a few books, and actually Brownells publishes several books, and has done so for quite some time. The Gunsmith Kink books, which are well known amongst gunsmiths. They kind of have their interesting take on how to handle certain problems, and they're pretty good reads. And then the Mauser bolt actions. That's a classic Brownells book published by us, has been for many years. Just a classic book if you're into Mausers. Goes into great detail, very similar to this book, but on the Mauser rifle.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I mean, that'd be a perfect book for a gift if you have
Father's Day is coming up.
Father's Day, yeah, that's right.
Pick that up if you have a father that served. He probably carried the M1 Garand. Heck, if he carried an M14. If he was in the service at all, it's a good book.
Very cool. So yeah, check it out. We'll have links in the show notes or on the bottom if you're watching this on YouTube for a direct link to the M1 Garand rifle by Bruce N. Canfield. Well, very cool, Paul. Thank you so much for sharing that, and I'll have to put that on my wish list.
All right, thanks, Jake.
We'll see you next week.
See you then.